Hi, welcome to Investor Insights. In this video, I'd like to talk about renting. More specifically, the advantages of renting a house over owning one. Now, this topic only came to me recently when I've been discussing this with a person who has had a messy split with his partner, and he's out there basically homeless, and he just had to come to a decision as to whether he should be going out to borrow money to buy a house or just taking his settlement and renting a house for the meantime. And the first thing that he mentioned was he was not comfortable renting because, renting is just dead money. You're just throwing money away. Well, that's technically not true. Renting is not dead money. Renting is not throwing money away. Far from it. In fact, in this environment, renting is the smartest thing that you could be doing for the next 2 or 3 years. And here's the reasons why. The first being the rental yields on properties in Sydney or for any other capital city in Australia. You've got the median Sydney rental yield at about 4.5%. You've got inflation, or the government stated inflation numbers is 2.4%. So technically, if you bought a house worth $1 million, the most rent the median rent you're going to get for it is roughly about 45 grand a year. But that 45 grand is not really 45 grand that you get to put in your pocket, because even before you take into account taxes and expenses, maintenance, whatever needs to be paid, you've got to look at inflation. So 4.5% minus almost 2.5% only gives you a net real rental income of 2%. Damn, just take your money and stick it in the bank. What's the point of buying a property to rent it out and getting a 2% net return? Now, the caveat to what I just said is that most people would be saying, yeah, but look at the capital gains. You're missing out on all the capital gains. Well, the market is stagnant at best. Despite the RBA cutting rates, you've got building approvals numbers released last week, which says that they're down about 10% on the year. So this market's overheated. Buying a property and trying to make a living out of earning rent from it is an absolute waste of time. And when this market implodes, you're going to be sitting on huge capital losses. And the mantra of all these videos and my insights is that capital preservation should be your primary focus before any investment decision. So, how can you preserve capital? In buying something that is pretty illiquid, it's overpriced, it has practically no real return on your investment. This could be high maintenance, therefore high expense, high management. You don't want to get involved in that. Now, this guy was looking for a place to live, which is different to investing in a house for a return. But the train of thought should be exactly the same. If he was to commit himself to a 20 or 25 year mortgage, the first 7 or 8 years of paying off the mortgage would be predominantly interest repayments. So it doesn't really build any equity from his property. Now, if he's renting a place and he's paying a very low yield, rental yield in Sydney, then it's not really a bad thing to do. He's actually not committing to a mortgage. He can now work hard, save up his money for a deposit on a future mortgage he wishes to undertake when he's fully ready to purchase a house, when he's ready to settle down and he doesn't have any considerations to take into account, like his children needing a place to stay every alternate weeks. He doesn't need to think about their schooling needs, and he's just going to get a place for him and his future partner. Renting's the way to go. There is absolutely nothing wrong with renting. And his statement that renting is dead money is highly incorrect, because it's not dead money when you need a place to live. When you eat, you're going to poop it out anyway. Is that dead money? So why not just stop eating? Right? Why buy clothes? I mean, that's dead money. I mean, everything in life that you consume can be considered to be dead money. And renting would be considered one just as much as everything else. But guess what? In life, you need to eat. You need to keep warm. You need shelter. So therefore, it's not dead money. You need to spend it. You need to live somewhere. That's life. So before you go out there and just decide that you're going to have to buy a house because you need somewhere to live, think about renting. And I would highly recommend renting until house prices come down. And believe me, if price houses aren't going up with interest rates being cut, that's sending you a clear message that the housing market is overheated. And no matter how the government's trying to reflate it with lower interest rates, the fundamentals are catching up with the market. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When inflation starts to run wild and the RBA has no choice but to hike rates, this market's going to implode. And if you're renting, you don't give a stuff. You only care about getting your bond back. You only care about paying your rent on time. You don't have to care about maintenance. You don't have to care about repairs. You don't have to care about anything because the onus is on the landlord. And if you're getting a great deal renting a place for next to nothing in terms of real money, then do it. Do it for 2 or 3 years. And then when the housing market gets repriced according to the fundamentals, then hopefully you would have saved some money to put into the house. If not, save enough to buy the whole house if it comes down that much. Until next time, happy house hunting.